Hey everyone, Coops here from the Whole Box and Dice. Something a little bit different for you all today. I've been super impressed with the latest Dragon Ball Super TCG from Bandai. Obviously a huge Magic fan, and always when new TCGs come out, love to run my eye over them. Huge Dragon Ball fan, so the art certainly was the first thing that caught my attention, but the game is super fun to play. It borrows elements from Pokemon and Vanguard and Final Fantasy. I think it makes for a very interesting game. It's pretty simple to pick up. There are a couple of rules that are a little bit tricky to wrap your head around, but if you've played other games like Magic or Vanguard or Force of Will or Final Fantasy or even Pokemon, like I mentioned, shouldn't be too hard. The learning curve isn't too steep, but it's very fun to play. It's a fast game. It's obviously very new to the market, so it's a great time to get involved. We're starting to see some constructed play and some tournaments. We've got a little bit of a meta going at the moment, so I thought it was time that I shot a video and showed you the deck that I've pretty much been refining from day one. Mono Red with Champa as the leader. I'll be doing an introduction video to the game shortly, so for all the people that watch my channel for Magic, you'll be able to check that out if you're interested in getting into the game, or anyone who's just looking to get into the game of Dragon Ball Super. Hopefully it'll give you an idea of what the game's about, and you can make a decision on whether you think it's something that you'll be interested in. So what does a mono red deck look like in Dragon Ball? Is it like Magic? Yes, it is a very fast, very aggressive deck, and with the rise of Critical Vegeta, so everyone that's following the game, they'll understand how competitive that deck is. It is a great foil for the deck, and I've had a huge amount of success with it against pretty much every single deck. So look, hopefully you like it, and if you don't, let me know in the comments. Let me know cards that you think I should be running. I'll go through the deck pretty quickly. I'll talk about some of the tech, and I'll mention some of the cards that I've seen in a lot of other lists that I'm not running and the reasons why I'm doing so. So share it around to your friends. Like I said, everyone playing Dragon Ball. There's some great community groups already. I'll link those Facebook ones at the bottom of the video, so go check them out if you need any help with deck construction, rules, or anything like that. And visit your local game store to grab some product, because there's starter decks, there's boosters, there's promo packs, and like I said, plenty of constructed tournaments going on. And the second set is set to release in a couple of months' time, so plenty of action on the Dragon Ball front. Actually, just before I jump into the deck tech, we'll be doing some videos on Metacross as well. So we've got some product for the new Panini game, and we've got Ixalan coming up for MTG. Plus, we've just had the Commander 2017 spoilers as well. So plenty going on in the world of trading card games. But let's look at Mono Red Champa for Dragon Ball Super TCG. So I mentioned Champa was the leader of the deck, and the front card, or the leader front for Champa, is auto once per turn. When your battle card attacks a leader card, if the attacking card has 15,000 or more power, draw one card, has a base power of 10,000 like all the leaders, and when your life is at 4 or less, you may draw 2 cards and flip this card over. The awakened side, or the leader back side, is God of Destruction Champa. When this card attacks, draw one card, which all the leaders have, and its activate main is place one card from your hand in the drop area. Choose this card or one of your battle cards. It gains double strike for the duration of the turn. So Champa, very aggressive leader. Initially I was playing Hit in the deck, which I was having a lot of success with. When the meta shifted slightly away from like the ramp decks, and the decks playing things like Beerus and Goku and Broly, and Vegeta became a big thing with Critical taking cards away, I switched to Champa just to restore some of that balance of card advantage. And turned out to be a great deck, not only just for beating Vegeta, but for pretty much everything else in the format. So what else do we run other than just Champa? We do need some cards to go with it, obviously. Running a playset of Cabba's Awakening. Running 4 copies of Sayian Cabba. Sayian Cabba is an absolute MVP in the deck. 4 copies of Scheming Champa, a great card to buff all our aliens, which the majority of our deck is. 4 copies of the base level Hit, just the 2 energy cost. 4 copies of Divine Aide Vados. When you combo with it, you get 10k and draw a card if you have 4 life or lower, which is super critical. 3 copies of Unceasing Evolution Frost. Used to be 4, but I did manage to pick up a Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, which I'm running 1 copy of. Would love to run another copy of Goku, as Goku has a great auto, being that it pumps your leaders and your battle cards as long as they're red, which the whole deck is, by 5k, and at the end of turn it returns to your hand. Furthering Destruction Champa, when you combo with this card, you get to give a red card, which is your leader, can be your leader as well, Double Strike, and he's just a 16k power battle card anyway. Iron Wall Magetta, play set of this. Can't be KO'd in battle, super useful, especially against people running Vados as their leader. 2 copies of Terra Assault Frost. You can pay the evolve cost of 3. You will realise by now as I'm going through by ascending numerical order, I am not running the 1 cost evolution Frost, and I'll talk about that more after I finish the deck contents. And when this card attacks a battle card, you can KO that card, which is great. And then if your opponent his leader card still has 10,000 power, so it's still on the front side, you get to deal 1 piece of damage to it, which is hugely valuable. Raging Cabba is an excellent addition to the 1-drop Saiyan Cabba. It has double strike, evolve cost of 3, and when you evolve it, you get to switch it back to active mode, which effectively means you get to attack once with the 1-drop Cabba, evolve it, and then attack again. 2 copies of Assassination Plot, great for clearing the board. A playset of Bewitching God Vados, who is just an absolutely insane 5-drop in the deck. The amount of times that you swing the game with 2 successful swings of Vados, because it does have dual attack. She is an absolute beast. Playset of Lightning Fast Hit. I do see a lot of mixed opinions on this card, but the fact that you can evolve it for 5, and when you do, you deal 2 damage to your opponent, that is great as well. And 2 copies of Destructive Red Champa. You can evolve this for 5 as well, just like Hit. It has triple strike, and when you play this card, choose all of your opponent's battle cards in the battle area with 15,000 or less power and KO them. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the deck list. That's what we're running. I'll put it in the comments below so you can check it out if you would like. And I've seen so many different lists going around. Obviously, it's a new game. There's new meta. It's constantly changing. And like I said, I have been working on this pretty much from day one. This has been the first deck that I've built. I've been playing around with this and Ginyu mainly as my 2 main decks, but I've pretty much played every single deck, almost tried every leader that there is now, and I really am enjoying both of these the most. I was successful in winning our constructed play tournament with this deck. You can just pick this up from someone for $50 or something, so you know the deck works. And it's really interesting, Critical Strike Vegeta, Critical Vegeta is such a strong deck at the moment, and Champa Mono Red does such a good job against it. It has great games against the Beerus decks, has great games against decks that play Broly, and I'm really struggling to find a lot of matchups that I'm having a lot of difficulty with, running things like Fickle Destruction, a couple more assassination plots in the sideboard, and I'll put the sideboard down in the comments as well for your reference. But a lot of the time in a best of 3, your deck remains pretty unchanged because I have a very sneaky game 2 strategy which has yet to fail me. I really don't want to tell you all this because I'm sure some of you do it anyway, but it always catches my opponents off guard, and it's just a great way just to completely change up the deck without actually changing up the deck and getting that game 2 victory to go 2-0. Now, I will mention actually what that strategy is, but I just want to talk about some of those cards that I said I'm not playing. And I'm not playing the 1-drop Evolution Frost. And I've seen so many people online, when I post lists or when I discuss the deck, have a huge issue with not playing the Frost cycle. This is why I'm not playing it. Everyone's saying if you have the next Frost, the Unceasing, the one that you can pay 2 to evolve it, that's a great play. And 100%, that is an absolutely amazing play. And you can pay 2 mana and look at the top 7 and evolve it. Also a great play. But the deck, especially with the way I've built it, the deck is so consistent with the cards that you need, given that you get the 6, Paris Mulligan anyway from the start. You rarely are in a situation where you've got 2 mana left over and you could use that to go look for an evolution on Frost. When you're attacking with cards like Vados, you don't want to see a Frost as the card that comes off the top because it's just got 5k power. There are much better cards that you want to be tutoring up, and you've got 15k hit for 2. You've got Magetta, you've got Vados, you've got Cabba. There are better cards to play than the 1-drop Frost, and that doesn't mean the 3 and 4-drop Frost don't have a spot in the deck, because they are 15k power, they do have double strike, they're great targets for Vados, and I just haven't found the need to run the 1-drops in the deck. I did have them there originally, I did used to play a lot of that chain, but I've just found that the deck, it does plenty fine without it, and that actually slows you down playing that evolution chain. Obviously, if you get the nuts and you get them all in your hand, it's great, but I'd much rather build a more consistent deck that I can rely on as a whole rather than just one evolution chain, which is what a lot of what I think, by the way, why the Broly deck struggles from time. It's so dependent on hitting that Broly evolution chain, and if it doesn't do it, it puts so much pressure on the deck to find other answers, which it is, just honestly, it's just lacking. So that's why I moved away from the Frost chain. But let me know in the comments if you think that's absolutely crazy. Like I said, have had a lot of success with the deck, and playmat doesn't lie. So, if you're playing this deck, give it a go. See what happens if you take it out. People are saying don't run Cabba's Awakening in the deck. I have to completely disagree with that as well. 6k for 0 is insane. Yes, you can't combo with the card, because even if it was pay 1 to combo, it would make it absolutely broken. I've seen people playing things like Fickle Destruction in the deck, the Negate for 1. You don't need to run these cards in an aggressive deck. I speak to a lot of people who haven't played Magic before or haven't played any other TCGs, and you can see where they're trying to make a deck that has a bit of resiliency and has that ability to interact with your opponent's deck. The key to your deck is smacking face, and I promise you, you don't need cards like that to do so, and only if you feel like absolutely you just don't have an answer to the deck and you need stuff like that, game 2, side them in. And even though I run them in the sideboard, I never side these cards in because there's just not a need to play them. Now, what is my game 2 strategy that I've spoken so much about? And if this works, and if you're playing this already, congratulations, you've stumbled onto an absolute gem. In game 1, it normally goes something like this: Sayian Cabba, hit, Cabba Evolution, Frost, Vados, game, right? Normally goes something like that. And your opponent's like, okay, so he's going to hit really hard, it's going to be really fast, so I just need to slow him down or slow her down and get in for a big alpha strike. Use cards like Broly, use cards like Beerus, use cards like Goku, absorb the initial damage, and then go through for a huge swing, right? This is where you completely change it up game 2. You don't actually use a lot of cards from your sideboard. If any, you don't really run any cards from your sideboard. What you start to do is you start to look at things like the 6-drop hit, like the Evolution Cabba, like Vados, like Champa, the 6-drop, and you start using these cards as energy. Now, your opponent doesn't really think there's anything weird about this. There's no suspicious activity. You're running a mono red deck. These are the cards that you need. Your opponent just thinks you're just getting threats on the board, putting pressure on like you normally would. And that is exactly what you're doing. What you are holding on to, though, is you're holding on to your 0-cost combos and your Cabba's Awakening. Because around turn 6 or 7 or 8, or not turn, but mana, energy 6, 7, 8 for your opponent, they will try and drop a bomb, whether they're ramping or they just get there by playing an energy each turn, to pretty much KO your leader, right? You're hurting yourself by taking life with things like Cabba, so you're always flirting with, being in that critical, super dangerous, close to lethal life range, and your opponent banks on this to go in for a big swing. And they'll hit you with 60, 70, and they will completely ignore your battle cards that turn. And they will go in for a big strike just on your leader with a triple striker, with a double striker to win the game. This is what you do. You see that turn coming because you can see they're building up to it. You hold all your 0-cost cards. You play all your 1-cost combos or things like Assassination Plot as energy, because they all tap for red, right? And then when your opponent combos off, I promise you, they will leave all your battle cards on the arena. And even if they play something like a Beerus and you have to throw away 2 cards, you throw away 2 of your pay 1 energy combo cards, and you just play all your 0-cost 10k, draw a card. You play all your 0-cost Scheming Champas and Magettas, and you play all your Frosts that don't cost anything to combo, and you absorb that hit, and you watch them tap everything down for it, and you don't contest any of the early swings. You might be on 4 life, they attack you for 1, you take it, they combo a couple of times. They attack you for another 1, combo a couple of times, you take it again. You don't use any cards in this stage. You keep drawing your life, even if they're critical, you just let the cards go, because all you have to do is survive that last turn. They swing in, they hit you with a 60, 70k combo, and you just laugh as you lay out 10, 15 cards back at them, draw a whole bunch, they realize what they've done, and you just swing back for a huge alpha strike the next turn when they have no cards in hand, they're all tapped down, and all their creatures have, or their battle cards are now in rest mode. I promise you, it doesn't work every single time, obviously, and occasionally opponents get super lucky and they have an answer, but 95% of the time, especially if your opponent isn't aware of this strategy, they will overcommit to the kill shot. They will not realize that you've been stockpiling your zero cost combo and your draw cards and your Cabba's Awakening, and you will get ahead of your opponent. You will absorb that last strike and you will go through to win. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the secret strategy. Maybe it's not secret to all of you, but there's plenty of people who never see it coming. It's exactly how I won that playmat, beating decks like Beerus and Critical Vegeta, Control. So many decks just don't see that combo coming. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. Like I said, plenty more MTG coming. Going to be doing some Dragon Ball Super videos, Metacross as well. So hit the thumbs up, share it around. Thank you so much for watching. Please, any comments, post them below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. I've been Coops. This is the Whole Box and Dice. Peace, everyone.